evening and welcome to another episode of Late Night with Lynette. I'm Lynette Peterson, your host. Who does a governor think she's fooling? The false facade that she cares for New Hampshire and New Hampshire residents is crumbling before her very lying eyes. She wants people to believe that she cares about the heroin epidemic, but she doesn't. New Hampshire Charitable Foundation is funding a project to help clean up this problem. The state doesn't have to pay for it. New Hampshire Charitable Foundation is paying for it. The governor named John Mosmack as the Senior Director for Substance Abuse, Misuse, and Behavioral Health. He's the top dog, the kingpin in the state's efforts to address the out-of-control problem with heroin. So, what has he accomplished these past 6 months since he's held this position? Nothing. Nothing at all. He has not reached out to even the police chief of either Manchester or Concord. Manchester. He hasn't reached out to the police chief there. He was in an hour-long meeting with Manchester's top officials, and he didn't even have a game plan. No new ideas, no advice, no plan of action. What does he do with his salary? Does he have to answer to New Hampshire Charitable Foundation? Do they know that he's doing nothing with their money? Does our governor even care? I doubt it. WMUR reported that the governor didn't even know that New Hampshire had been awarded, get this, a grant, free money, $12.5 million to combat substance abuse. She didn't even know we had it. Folks, that's a lot of money, and the governor is clueless. Really, Governor? It's about time she found a new hobby. She needs to focus on New Hampshire. She needs to focus on New Hampshire problems. First and foremost, stop vetoing everything that's put on your desk. Do something that's good for New Hampshire. Fire your drug czar. Put someone in that position that's actually going to do something for the state of New Hampshire. Just say no to Maggie Hassan no matter what office she's running for. Time for a new hobby, Governor. My Hillary Happening will be coming from one of my guests. Representative Janine Nodder has our Hillary Happening tonight. First of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Lynette. We were having technical difficulty, so let's see if this works.
One of your opponents, Governor Scott Walker, signed a law in Wisconsin this week which would prohibit abortions after 20 weeks of a pregnancy. On Twitter, Hillary Clinton said Governor Walker signed dangerous abortion restrictions into law in Wisconsin without exceptions for rape or incest. She called this extreme and unacceptable. Walker retweeted her and called her out of touch with most Americans. What's your position on this legislation which does not allow exceptions for rape and incest?
Well, let's talk about the legislation that's sitting on the Senate floor right now, which does allow for those exceptions.
So
let's also talk about Hillary Clinton's position. Let's talk about what extreme is. It's not a life until it leaves the hospital. That's Hillary Clinton's position. It's Hillary Clinton's position that a 13-year-old girl needs her mother's permission to go to a tanning salon or get a tattoo, but not to get an abortion. It's Hillary Clinton's position that women should not be permitted to look at an ultrasound before an abortion, and yet people who are trying to harvest body parts can use ultrasound to make sure that those body parts are preserved so they can be sold. That, Jake, is extreme.
Do you, just to clarify, do you think there should be an exception for rape and incest?
I would really be delighted if, for once, the media would ask Hillary Clinton about the extremism of her position.
Well,
it's not a life until it leaves the hospital. My position is very clear. It's been clear and consistent ever since I ran for the Senate in 2010. Anyone can look it up. Yes, I support exceptions, but the majority of the American people now believe that abortion for any reason at all to be paid for by taxpayers after 5 months is an abomination. And this videotape, whether you're a pro-choice woman or a pro-life woman, this videotape is depraved. The casual nature with which these people are talking about fetuses and tissue and specimens. I tell you what, if a woman was looking at that ultrasound at that same stage in her pregnancy, the doctor would not be talking about fetuses or specimens or tissues. They would be saying, look at your baby's heartbeat, look at your baby's eyes, look at your baby's organs.
Carly Fiorina, thank you so much. Thank you for taking our questions.
Thank you, Representative Nodder. And my other guest this evening is Merrimack's very own blogger, Ellen Kolb.
Hi, Lynette.
Hello there. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you both on again.
Thank you.
Great to be
Now,
here.
what do you think? Caller in or caller out?
Oh, Lynette.
Everyone's listening to you. They don't care about the
With
collar.
that
We're good.
jacket, I don't think it matters.
She's jealous she doesn't have a signature jacket for her show.
Lynette, after the show, why don't we go shopping and we'll get you a nice purple jacket.
I have a nice purple jacket.
And
Are you going to
but
wear
you
that nice
choose to
purple
wear that
jacket
one.
on Tuesday? There's something going on in Concord,
Yeah.
and I wonder if Peterson Purple is going to be featured there.
Peterson purple would be a good color to wear there. Or maybe break
Any
out the new
color
jacket.
would be better to wear there other than that one.
Okay, both of these ladies have been on my show before, my first repeats. And we have when I thought of this topic for the show, I couldn't have thought of anyone else in Merrimack to have but you two. When I saw the videos and read the articles concerning Planned Parenthood selling body parts, I wanted to cry.
Yeah.
And I thought, no, we need to expose what's going on. We need to talk about who's funding them. Who are they funding? We need to let people know what really happens with funds going to and from Planned Parenthood. I mean, this is deplorable. This is disgusting.
Sorry, I didn't mean to press
Hello.
that button.
See, even your tablet likes my jacket.
Actually, that's the jacket, yeah.
Oh, evil. Okay, so opening statement from the blogger.
What's happening now regarding Planned Parenthood brings up a question that's come up for a long time. Should taxpayers have to pay for what goes on? You can tell me that Planned Parenthood does a lot of good. I hear that from their donors, that money that's public is not used for abortion. If tax money goes into the operation of any Planned Parenthood facility, it's freeing up other money to use for abortion. So next Tuesday in Concord, New Hampshire people are coming together at the State House, and all they want is for Planned Parenthood to get its hand out of the taxpayer's pocket.
Exactly. Now I have a list of 39 companies here that supports Planned Parenthood. They donate to Planned Parenthood. And some of these companies, I think you've heard of. We have, let's see, American Cancer Society. You know, I used to give money to them. You're giving money to the American Cancer Society to save lives, and yet they're giving money to kill babies.
Again, they're buying into the health care, but abortion is not health care. And as soon as you assume for discussion that they're the same thing,
exactly.
That's where the
March
tax
of
money goes.
Dimes is another one.
Can I jump in a minute? You know, meeting Tuesday in Concord this coming Tuesday. It's at noon.
It's
isn't
at
it?
July
It's
28th
noon,
at
yep.
It's
noon.
noon, right in front of the State House.
Correct, yep.
Now, Lynette, I think it was our first term, so 3 terms ago, the 162nd New Hampshire State Legislature. There was a rally at the State House.
Yes, and you have some pictures.
I did. Now they're grainy because I snapped a photo of them off Facebook and then printed them, and then I took my iPad and took a picture of them with this.
Right.
But here's the women that had a rally. These same women, they come up to the Concord all the time, and you know, they support Planned Parenthood, and
they were proud of their signs.
Yes, very proud. This one, in case you can't read it, it says "Sluts Vote."
Well, Lynette, there's something going on here.
And here's another one. Uppity I can't even say that word. It's a bad word. Uppity Sluts Unite. And it says on the side, stop the GOP war on women, which was a bunch of bull. Why don't we stop the Democrat war on the unborn?
And the war on women started with good old George Stephanopoulos. He's the one that brought up the term war on women. This was his creation.
What are we? We're not women?
Well, you know, what's happening here with the videos that show Planned Parenthood employees talking about the procurement of fetal body parts, this is something that cuts across conventional lines. I hope that at this event on Tuesday, we're going to see women, normally we're on the other side of the table with, on the same side, saying, wait a minute, this is not what I'm talking about when I say health care. What do you mean?
I guess we'll find out. I guess we'll find out.
And this is not a Democratic-Republican thing, because Republicans vote for policies promoted by Planned Parenthood. Picking on the Dems lets people off the hook. I think everyone running for office and holding office needs to be asked about these videos and said, is this okay with you? On the public dime?
Exactly. Yep. And with the funding they get, I mean, here's some more. Bank of America, AT&T, Avon, Bath and Body, Dockers, Energizer, Exxon, Johnson & Johnson, healthcare products, Levi Strauss, Liberty Mutual, I'm glad I don't have them for insurance, Macy's, Morgan Stanley, Nike, Pepsi-Cola, Coca-Cola, Starbucks, Tostitos. These companies give money, they fund Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood does not need taxpayers' dollars. No, if they get so much money that they can fund elections, they can pay off people running for office. Let's see. I know you have a whole list of New Hampshire people. I have two. Well, they give millions to the Hillary Clinton presidential campaign. Our own Jean Shaheen. She received $15,999 from Planned Parenthood. Carol Shea Porter received $10,000. This list is all Democrats that received money from Planned Parenthood. There's one Republican, but that person's from the wonderful state of New York, so we really question if he's a Republican or not. But this is deplorable. If they have that much money to give away, they don't need taxpayers' dollars.
Well, they raise money for their political activities, both for the PAC and their independent expenditures. They say that's separate from the rest of theirs. But I noticed that their lobbyist for New Hampshire, who's very, very good at her work, when she promotes a bill, the bill generally does very well. When she opposes a bill, the bill doesn't do very well. And Planned Parenthood has invested heavily in this. The governor's race last time, Governor Hassan benefited from over $12,000. This is between the PAC and the independent expenditures that were made in favor of her candidacy. $30,000 went into executive council races, and more than $40,000 went into the state senate.
They really wanted to hit the state senate hard.
Yes. Yes, and this is important because the buffer zone was a concern. They did not want the buffer zone repealed on a 12-12 vote.
Exactly. Kathy Rago was one they didn't want in office.
She would have been good.
But you know, will all of these people who took money, are they all going to say something nasty about their neighbors who come together on Tuesday? I want to see this, because after these donations were made, after the last election, now we've seen Planned Parenthood executives speaking about crushing children a certain way so that their organs are usable. I have to wonder, are all these people going to criticize the fact that people are looking at this, or are they going to come together and say, you know, this is not what we're talking about when we say that we are in favor of abortion rights?
Right. It's just deplorable.
I just got this as an email. That was Can I show it?
It's just so wrong.
And no abortion, even if you are in favor of abortion rights, it has always been considered a bad thing if you change the abortion procedure for any reason other than the health of the mother.
Right.
And we have at least one Planned Parenthood physician on tape talking about changing the method of abortion in order to increase the chance that body parts can be procured. Right. That is like anti-women's health.
They were going to use it was going to. I saw the same video. Instead of using the vacuum that would rip and I'm like, I've heard enough.
And the nervous systems are intact, so these little babies are feeling it.
Yeah.
They're feeling their body parts.
No woman goes in for an abortion expecting that something like this is going to happen. She doesn't do it expecting that an abortion provider is then going to go out to lunch with a biologics company and talk about the best way to extract
and
fetal
that was
organs.
what was so deplorable about that video. Here they are sitting in a restaurant over lunch.
Deductible.
Discussing. Yeah, deductible of course. Discussing how to harvest and what's a good price for baby parts.
And I understand that more videos are coming out. I believe the Center for Medical Progress has made 12. And people are asking, who are these people? What's this organization? I understand that the DOJ in Washington is even going to inquire into it. All right, look into the Center for Medical Progress. Look into where they come from. But nothing about the Center for Medical Progress changes the fact that these were and are Planned Parenthood employees,
Exactly.
physicians,
Exactly.
talking about procurement of fetal organs and changing the manner of abortion.
Imagine if
to
it
get
were puppies we were talking about, if they were ripping apart little puppies and harvesting their parts.
Imagine-
oh my gosh, imagine the public outcry.
Baby seals. Hello.
Ladies, imagine if it were Confederate flags.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
a Planned Parenthood
Yep.
official were seen at lunch discussing the procurement of a symbol, you know, a Confederate flag, she'd be out of a job by sundown.
Right.
So let's get this clear. This is not about shutting down anything except taxpayer participation, and it would mean a huge change in Planned Parenthood's business model.
Oh yeah, oh,
But
for sure.
get the taxpayers out.
Yeah.
Planned Parenthood, even in northern New England,
Yeah.
you know, they're a
And-
$20 million organization.
Oh, exactly. And the salaries that they make themselves. What's my buddy, Frizzle?
Well,
What does she make?
The lobbyist, who is worth
Yes.
every penny, according to Planned Parenthood of Northern New England's IRS filings for 2013, which is the most recent I have, her base salary was $111,000. And with other compensation, it came to
God.
Yeah.
close to $119,000.
Exactly.
Lobbyists are paid that much when they prove their worth. They prove their worth when the policies that the company wants pass.
Exactly. And
Who's speaking for the people who simply don't want their tax dollars doing it?
exactly.
No one's getting paid $111,000 to make that argument.
When I was serving on the House Judiciary for the 2 terms, if there was anything in our committee that had to do with either for or against abortion, bingo, she was there.
And why not?
Yeah, she was
that's
there.
her job.
Exactly. And she was ready.
Well, let her be ready. But
Exactly.
Don't let her convince you or anyone else that what is caught on video is a good thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's time to come together and say, privatize Planned Parenthood, get your hand out of my pocket, and when women's health care is important, you're going to see less spent on administrative, you're going to see less spent on public policy work, you're going to see less spent on direct lobbying, and you're going to see more of that put towards authentic women's health. That's not going to happen until the taxpayers
and
speak
let's
up.
just say that I'm pro-choice and I want my money to go to Planned Parenthood. I can give it
Write
to
a
them.
check.
I can write a
Yep.
check.
There you
It
go.
doesn't have to come out of the
And their
everyone's
private
pockets.
donations don't come anywhere near what the government dollars are, which makes me wonder just how
Exactly.
deep their support goes.
Exactly. Yep.
But
and with a
you have
list
to
of
work on it.
39 companies that now they didn't list how much they give, but however, when you have big name companies like Johnson & Johnson, Nike,
It's got to be more than
Microsoft.
39. These are just ones that.
Oh yeah,
have
these are just the
identified.
big names that they
I don't
listed.
like their shoes anyway.
No, I never did. I even won a pair of Nikes in a race, and I gave them away. They hurt my feet.
But you know, this is something that Planned Parenthood's been working towards, integrating
Exactly.
abortion and health care into the community so that, you know, what's wrong? This is a donation. This is a charitable thing. This is good.
Right.
And the taxpayers are going to need to say, you know what? I care where my dollars go. You're free to give yours, but don't reach for mine.
Exactly.
Don't
And
reach for mine.
and yes, they do health care. Abortion's not health care. It's just not. It's just so wrong.
And they always, when they're in Concord, they always say, oh, it's just such a small part of our business.
Exactly.
Such a small part of our business. And I don't believe them.
And they kind of, and like when they were discussing trying to get the statistics bill passed, and she's
we
saying
have no statistics.
That's
in
right.
New
exactly.
Hampshire.
Well, she was throwing out numbers, and I said, "Where did you find that information?" It's on our website. I said, "No, it's not. We don't have statistics." And I was gabbled, and I was accused of being argumentative and harassing our witness.
Okay.
So I wasn't allowed to ask any more questions.
Well, we
but
know
she
where-
she doesn't have the information. There's no stats.
I was shocked in 2011 when we all got an idea of where healthcare stood. You'll remember that at that time the Executive Council voted to deny a family planning contract to Planned Parenthood. They immediately began a public relations campaign saying the executive counselors are denying health care to women. But
And people
they did
believe
not
it.
shift any money from administrative. They did not shift any money from marketing. They did not shift any money from anything else in order to make up the shortfall.
Yep.
That tells me what I need to know. And that makes me wonder what's happening. The Executive Council is the one that votes on the contracts for Planned Parenthood. The last one Planned Parenthood had expired June 30th of this year. And nobody's screaming that women have been denied health care since there's no new one in place yet. I wonder if the federal government is doing an end run like it did when the 2011 contract fell through. But I'll be watching the counselors on August 5th. The council to which the races Planned Parenthood donated $30,000 to, are they going to get these contracts the first week in August?
Hey, you said August 5th?
It's the first Wednesday in August.
And you're going to be watching them where?
That has yet to be announced. Because it's summertime, the council goes to different places.
They go everywhere. Yeah.
But it will be at 10 a.m. on Wednesday, the first Wednesday in August. And the Friday before, we'll see the agenda, and it'll be confirmed whether these 5 contracts that were in the news today are going to be voted on or not.
Well,
It's time for the taxpayers to say, stop. Take a look at this.
Well, I'm glad we have Dave Wheeler as for our executive councilman, because I'm sure he'll vote correctly.
Yes, he's definitely pro-life, but it's deplorable, absolutely deplorable.
What it would be deplorable would be if people stayed home. It's
Exactly.
good. It's good that this is getting out.
Yep.
People are talking about it,
Yep.
and this gathering that's going on in Concord on July 28th is not the only one. There are going to be gatherings all over the country. Several pro-life groups came together nationally, including one called Women Speak for Themselves, which came up in the wake of Obamacare's HHS mandate. And they said, if anybody's interested, can we get this going in other cities? And it's spreading like wildfire. I'm very happy that New Hampshire's
In case people
involved.
tune in late, 'cause sometimes I tune into your show late, and I miss your whole Hillary happening and your Maggie moment, and I'm crushed.
Yeah. Tuesday the 28th at
July
noon,
28th.
July 28th, right out in front of the State House. There's going to be a rally to defund Planned Parenthood with taxpayer dollars. Join us. The 3 of us are going to be there.
Absolutely. Simply privatize an organization that chooses to incorporate abortion into its business model. As a private agency, they're free to do what they want, but they're not a private agency anymore when they reach into my pocket.
Exactly. And I have enough being taken out of my pocket, thanks to our charming governor.
And Obamacare.
Well, the governor at least is subject to elections.
Yes,
An agency like
exactly.
Planned Parenthood is not.
Exactly.
There's
but
very little
unfortunately, there's too
accountability.
many sheeple that don't do their homework, and they just looked at the name. Oh, she's been in before. I'll vote for her again. They need to take a look. You know, people squawk they want term limits in this country. We have term limits. Your vote determines term limits. Vote the people out. But too often, how many people down in D.C. have been there for more than 3 terms?
Yeah.
What have they actually done? How many people are getting rich in the D.C. area off the taxpayer dollar?
Well, thanks to these videos, the people coming together they're not waiting for an election.
Right.
They're coming together and saying, enough.
Enough
this
is enough.
is enough.
Yep.
And it's time to steer our dollars towards authentic women's health care.
Exactly. Exactly.
Didn't you? I remember I was in the car with you. You had called Planned Parenthood to try to schedule a mammogram. Do you remember the runaround they gave you on
Yes,
that?
yes.
They
That's so
don't
much for
do
health.
They don't
Yeah,
do
they don't.
they don't do mammograms, and that's part
But
of
that
healthcare.
was part of their argument was
Right.
mammograms.
Exactly. They used it all the time in judiciary, and
Cancer
I brought
screenings.
Yeah, I brought that up one time, and again I was gavelled by my chairwoman. I was being argumentative.
I've seen you in action on that.
I served on the Judiciary Committee
Yep.
with her at the end of my last term. Yeah.
And Merrimack could be proud of both of them.
Yes, but my chairwoman just didn't. I don't think she liked me.
But your question got out, and even if it was gavelled out of order, everyone in the room
Right,
and
exactly.
all the reporters knew what you
Right.
asked.
Again, you know, mammograms, that is huge for women's health care. I mean, that's one of the top tests to keep women healthy.
The cancer screenings
Well,
they talk
cancer
That's
about,
who you
screenings.
talk to. I know. I won't get one.
they're doing manual exams, screening. That's what they say will be stopped if you stop funding
Yeah.
abortion provider. And now they're going to add that if you're opposed to what they're doing with these fetal remains, that you're opposed to life-saving medical research. The Planned Parenthood Federation of America
They
president
could have
already
said
floated
the same
that.
thing to Dr. Mengele
Yeah.
in Nazi Germany.
Exactly.
Oh, well, if you're opposed to me doing these medical experiments and you're opposed to the advancement of medical science.
There's nothing pro-women's health about altering an abortion procedure in order
No.
to procure organs. And again, an agency can do whatever it wants privately.
Exactly.
But when a state contract is involved, when federal dollars are involved, you're no longer private.
No.
It's absolutely my business what you do.
Oh, exactly. Exactly. There's so little of our tax money that we have any control over. So little. And this is one way we can get some control of our tax dollars.
And this is a moment that needs to be seized.
Oh, it does. It does. This was just, I mean, it's going viral on, I mean.
I've been posting it on Facebook, and I'm actually getting some grief from some people.
Well, I fully expect there'll be counter demonstrators on Tuesday.
Oh, I'm sure the loose women will be there.
The worst
yeah, the
thing
ones
to
with
do,
those signs.
the
Yeah.
worst thing
Sluts
you can
United.
do is stay home and wring your hands and think, I'm the only one who's concerned about this. This is a time to reach out to people who've been on the opposite side of the table at other times and say, are you sure this is what you've been working for?
You know,
Exactly.
it's nice.
And even,
it's nice to stay out of it and be friends with everyone, but sometimes you have to make a stand.
Right.
And this is the time.
exactly. And even if you're pro-abortion, you're pro-choice, you've got to be against this. Having babies' body parts harvested.
They
That
don't
is
believe they're
just
babies. They don't believe they're
so-
babies, but they believe the parts are human. Otherwise, how could you
That
reuse
is
them?
just so deplorable.
Well, a woman in crisis who's looking to have her pregnancy terminated might even read the permission sheet. They don't always do the consent. They don't always read the consent forms, I'm sure, but and might even see that the products of conception could be used. How many
Maybe they don't
women,
know
if
what
they
that
had
means.
time to reflect, would do that?
Oh, exactly.
How much we know that there's no reflection period, there's no waiting period. How much
We
of the
tried to
consent
get
is
a waiting
truly
period.
And Carly Fiorina hit the nail right on the head when she said if the same ultrasound that they're using to harvest baby parts was being shown to a mother, they wouldn't have the same conversation. You'd be calling it a baby. Look at your baby's heartbeat. Look at your baby's little toes and little fingers. Not.
And that clip we showed earlier, we didn't say it, but unless they saw the logo, that was from Fox News.
Right.
I meant to say that, but we
Right.
went on talking about something else. So.
Well, we are just about out of time.
Wow.
Yes, it goes by fast. Yes. I thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. I thank you to both my guests. Stay tuned next week for another episode of Late Night with Lynette. Good night and God bless.